Hey guys, just setting up my camera. It's going to be wiggly for a second. I feel like it got smudged. See if that helped. Yeah, that looks better. The things we do. Say hello if you're here. I think that's all right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Hi, Annie. Good to see you. Hi, Robert. Kumar. Good to see you both. How are you guys doing? Happy Easter, if you celebrate that. I'll just give a minute for a few more people to join. Make sure that my stream is actually working. Hi, Allie. Or Ollie, sorry. Yeah. Yes, my screen was a little blurry, wasn't it? Now it looks hopefully a little better. Okay, well thank you all so much for being here this afternoon with me, Monday afternoon. We are in what, week 4 or 5? I'm starting to lose count. That's kind of ridiculous, but it's okay. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy wherever you are, and hopefully you're still connected, even if it's through FaceTime or what we're doing here with other people in your life, especially if you live alone. You know, connection is very important with people. So if you're having a down day, or if you're feeling a little bit sad, maybe reach out to somebody, somebody that's your best friend or a family member, or even someone you haven't talked to in a very long time. I'm sure that they would love to hear from you. I mean, this is like a perfect opportunity to sort of talk to someone you haven't in a while, right? Sort of mend that broken bridge or whatever it is. All right. So we're going to start in a comfortable seat. And if you feel more comfortable laying on your back, go ahead. I recommend, if you have some blocks, finding them. So we're going to have 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, books can also be something that is nice to use, or even cardboard boxes if you're getting any deliveries, or you can go to your fridge, get a milk carton or something, a water jug. It's just something that you can reach down for in case the ground feels a little too far away from you in some of these poses. So take a moment, go grab those. Okay. All right, and if you want to say hello, I know a few more people joined, go ahead. I'll make sure to acknowledge you, because even though I can't see you, I want you to know that I do see you in a way. All right, so let's all close our eyes. Wherever you are, whether you're in a comfortable seat or laying on your back with a blanket over you, getting nice and comfy. And then find your breath. Noticing any sensations that come up. Noticing the external sensations, how your skin may feel, the air around you, the ground that you're sitting or laying on. Maybe you can feel that, the solidity, the texture. And become hyper aware of your surroundings, but with your eyes remaining closed. It's almost as though you're reaching out with your mind and feeling the space. And since you're probably in a space you know very well, you might even be able to feel the edges of the room. You can't see them, but you're sending out your little invisible webs, sensing the shape of everything around you. Just noticing how that feels. You feel surrounded and safe within your walls. maybe you're practicing outside. If you have a deck, super lovely weather right now. A perfect day to practice outside in the sun. And now allow your container, your energy, where you're right now, you're inside, maybe your home. Allow it to go a little deeper. So you're going outside the space. You're walking through the space. You're becoming a little bigger. That sensation of awareness. Maybe you notice the trees outside, the dog walking by. Maybe you notice nothing. Maybe this is all ridiculous. But just sit with it and see what you see, feel what you feel. And we'll be here another minute or so, staying with your breath and the awareness of your surroundings with eyes closed. If you went really far away, you might have went all the way to space. Start coming back in. Bringing your awareness a little bit more towards the outer edge of your body. Notice the shape you're taking in space right now. The shape that you've identified as. Notice that, feel that. Go a little deeper inside if you can. Go where you're holding tension right now. Maybe it's your mind, your shoulders, your stomach, your chest. Go there. And all that space that you just felt, allow that to go into your tension. So instead of your tension being this tight ball, it's now being softened by the immense amount of space surrounding us. Breathe with that for 3 more breaths. Notice what happens in your body, if there's a shift in the nervous system, if you feel a little more relaxed. Beautiful. If you're still laying down, find your way up to a comfortable seat. And then if you'd like to join us all in one Om, yes, all together. Inhale, sweeping your arms up, palms touch. You can do a silent Om if you'd rather. Exhale, palms together, heart center. Inhale here. Your sound waves you just created to travel within the space around you and further away. When you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to start in a standing position and do a few ankle rolls. And so don't worry how you're standing on your mat right now. We're just going to start rolling our toes over and around, finding some movement in our ankles here. And then reverse direction. Yeah, little snap, crackle, pop there. Okay, we're gonna do the other leg. Switching sides. I see my dog staring at me out through the door. 1 second, and I'll let him in. And then reverse direction with that other ankle. Want to say hi? Okay, we're gonna do some breath of joy, okay? So if you haven't done that before, it's 3 inhales and then an exhale. And so when you inhale 3 times, you don't have to inhale 3 times. You can do inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. But if you choose to inhale, 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 exhale, then you're gonna stimulate your nervous system a little quicker and you might feel more joyful. Who knows? But you also might feel really lightheaded really fast, so then go back to inhale, exhale, okay? So what we do is we inhale as our arms rise, inhale, bend the knees, arms come behind us, inhale, up again, exhale, forcefully through the mouth, okay? Let's do that together. Inhale, 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 inhale. Through the nose, inhales, forceful exhale through the mouth. Allow your arms to swing with joy, right? Let's do 5 more. Last one. Feel your breath. And then slowly roll up. Close your eyes. Pause and feel as your feet stabilize beneath you. And then finding your way to the top of your mat. Toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweeping your arms up, palms touch at the top. Exhale, forward fold, down and out. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, soften the knees, forward fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, hands to knees, or maybe they're a little lower, closer to your ankles. Halfway. Exhale, down. Last one, inhale. Exhale, lower. Grabbing onto your elbows, shaking your head yes or no a few times here. And then bringing your hands down to the ground, stepping your right foot back, and then your left, high plank. Taking 1 deep inhale here. And then lifting your hips straight up to downward facing dog. Cycling your legs here. Maybe the right knee bends as the left heel draws down to the ground. And then switch sides. And again, getting a deep calf stretch, depending on how deep you push that opposite heel down to the ground. And then eventually stabilizing both legs by lifting the hips up and away and keeping a micro or a mega bend in the knee so you can keep a straight back. 1 more inhale. Exhale as you tiptoe yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale, hands to shins or fingertips on the ground, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the ground away, sending your arms up. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, planting the hands. This time, left foot comes back first, and then the right foot. So if you're constantly bringing the same foot back into plank every time, try every other to switch it so we don't develop this pattern and we have equanimity in our body. 1 more inhale in plank. Exhale, knees down, chest down, chin down. Keep the booty lifted for a second. And then slowly sliding the belly down. The feet push out behind you, all 10 toes down into the ground. Inhale, lift, cobra pose. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, push the 10 toes down to the ground. Maybe the lower rib cage can lift. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And let's see how much you're using your back muscles versus your arm muscles. Lift your hands off the ground and float here for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, tucking the toes, drawing your seat back to your heels, and then lifting the hips, downward facing dog. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Planting all 10 fingers into the ground, and especially that tissue right underneath the index finger. Push that a little bit more. Inhale. Exhale, walking or stepping or jumping yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Sitting in your chair here. And then crossing that right foot over the left knee. Figure 4 chair. Hands come to heart center. Don't worry, we're not going to twist. That would be a little too much for right now. But see if you can sit a little bit lower and notice where you feel this. So oftentimes we'll start to compensate when we sit a little lower by dropping the knee or the right hip down. See if you can keep your hips square and sit a little lower. One more breath. Beautiful. Exhale, straightening that left leg, sliding the right leg up for tree pose. Once you're feeling nice and stable, and if you're on a mat and on carpet, you might feel a little more wobbly than usual. That's normal. It's extra padding. But once you're feeling stable, let your branches grow. Notice that right leg. Make sure that you're pushing the sole of your foot into the trunk. So the more that you can push into your leg, the deeper you can externally open the hip. So if you're just sitting here with your leg and balancing, that's fine. But if you want to feel more in the lower body, really push the foot into the leg so you can open the knee more towards the side of the room versus the front. Okay, dropping that right hand on the inside of the right leg, leaning over to your right. We'll be here for 2 more breaths, finding extension along the left lateral side of your body. Last breath. Exhale, release. The right leg comes down to the ground, maybe a little shake. And we're going to switch sides. Left foot over the right, figure 4 chair. Taking your time to settle yourself down into a seat. Now, if you're wanting to do a little bit more powerful of a class, feel free to bring your arms up at any time. Since I'm teaching and I'm moving with you and trying to keep a steady breath, I'm going to often downgrade my poses to ones that are more energetically softer, okay? So if you need to build up the heat and go a little harder, by all means, challenge yourself however you need. But if you'd like to be a little softer today with me, then stay with me. Sit a little lower. Notice if that left hip is dropping or lifting, working on keeping both hip bones, sit bones square in the same line. One more. Beautiful. Pushing your right foot into the ground to lengthen that right leg. Taking your left foot, tree pose. If this feels too unstable, you can always drop that left foot down to the ground for kickstand pose, or even cross it over. And when you cross it over the foot, make sure to open up the left knee so it's not pointing forward, it's pointing away. And then you'll feel it, hopefully, in the outer hips. And once you're nice and stable, like your favorite tree, grow your branches. Maybe when you closed your eyes at the beginning of practice, you saw a tree. Be that tree. Maybe you've known that tree your whole life. Left arm drops down to the inside of that left leg as you begin to lean over to your left. Right hip juts out, opposite of your left knee. Keep reaching that right hand up, finding extension, especially along this shoulder area. So you're creating more length right below the armpit and above the armpit. And feel how that connects to the rest of the body. One more breath. Exhale, release. Finding your way back to the front of your mat. Mountain pose. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step jumper, float back. Maybe the right foot goes back first. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, dandasana. Inhale, cobra, or upward facing dog if you're ready for that back bend. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Taking that left foot more towards center as you inhale, send the right leg up high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, kick it back out. Exhale to the right elbow. Let it touch. Hold here for 2. 1, inhale, kick it back out. Exhale to the left elbow, hold for 2. Maybe the hips lift a little higher. 1, beautiful. Inhale, kick that foot back out. Exhale, bring the right foot through. Inhale, coming up onto your fingertips. Root your feet, feeling nice and steady. Just like you were in tree pose, try to feel the root, the connection between your foot and your mat. Once you're feeling strong, draw the belly button into the spine and inhale, rise. Crescent lunge. Sit a little lower into the front knee and then back off a little bit. So notice where you're feeling this in your body. Feel tension to that back quad. Sink a little deeper, maybe a foot along the hip flexors, the right outer hip. Square your hips here. We're just doing a little micro pulse. Right knee goes down a little bit further and then back up again. And in about one more movement, we're going to really sink into that front knee. Taking your left arm across. I'm going to try to face you guys. Left arm across, right arm on top, coming into eagle arms by bending your elbows. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you push your hands towards each other and do a little crisscross until your palms come together. If you make it this far, push your elbows away from you and up. If this is too intense, release that eagle nonsense and just give yourself a hug. Remembering which hand is on top. Right arm is likely on top because you want to make sure to do both sides. Inhale here. Exhale as you pivot the back heel down to the ground. So it's more like a warrior 1 stance for 1 inhale, back bend. Exhale, folding forward, humble warrior with eagle arms or hugging yourself. Once you're here, allow your head and neck to soften. Maybe your fingertips are able to touch the ground. Noticing your breath, noticing the space that you're taking up. Inhale as you root to rise, keeping your eagle arms, rooting the right foot, slowly taking that left leg, dragging it forward until you finally cross it over the right for eagle legs. So the right foot is now your support, left leg crosses over, and then you sit back down into your chair. Now you can stay here with that left foot dangling in air or squeeze the calves together, working on bringing the ankle around the calf. You have to sit a little lower for that to happen though. If you sit too high, there's just no space. So the deeper you sit, the deeper the flexibility in the hips, the better chance you have of finding that grip. One more breath. Exhale, release everything as though you're coming up out of water. And then exhale, mountain pose. Pause and feel. Inhale, sweeping your arms up, palms touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step jumper, float back, high plank. 1 inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keep the shoulder heads lifted. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, over the toes. Keep the hips high. Downward facing dog. Right foot moves closer to center as your left leg reaches up. Keep the left toes pointing down. Lift the leg up a little higher as you do an inner spiral of that left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, leg goes back up. Exhale to your left elbow. Hold for 2. And 1. Inhale, kicking it back up. Exhale to the right. Hold for 2. Hips lift a little higher. 1. Awesome. Inhale, left leg reaches back up. Exhale, bring the foot through as close as you can in between your hands. Root your feet, come up onto your fingertips so you can feel your feet more than your hands. Belly button to spine. So you'll do like a little bit of a dome here. And when you're ready, inhale. Sending your arms up, crescent lunge. So usually we start in a more gentle version of the pose, and through our words and our cues, we go a little deeper. So bend a little deeper into the front knee, and then back off a bit, and then a little deeper, and back off a bit. Doing that a few more times. Maybe you stay in a deeper position, maybe you move with me. Last one. Bending your knee as deep as you can, keeping that right knee, back knee straight. Inhale. This time the right arm comes across first. Left arm reaches over, eagle arms, or give yourself a hug with left arm on top, reaching for those scapula, those bones back there. If you're going for eagle, to feel this more protraction of the shoulder blades, really push those elbows away and up. Notice the more you push away, the deeper the space you create in your back body. Inhale as you do a little back bend here. Exhale, pivoting the back heel down, unless you want to do heel lifted. Humble warrior. Your belly might be resting on your thighs. Your left rib cage might be pushing into that left inner thigh. Wherever you are, allow your head and neck to release. And take your breath to the upper back body. One more breath. Rooting your feet, inhale, rise. Keeping your arms eagled, slowly beginning to bring weight into the front foot as you drag the right foot forward, coming into eagle legs. So that right leg will cross over the left and come down into a seat. If you want to try to cross the ankle over the calf, keep squeezing that right leg in towards the left thigh, or the left calf, sorry. Sink a little lower. Elbows push up and away. I know, it's a long time. One more breath. Exhale, release. Let your arms and legs go out long. We'll do a couple shoulder circles here. Bringing your hands to your hips, walking your left leg out to the side, wide-legged straddle, having your toes pointing in the same direction. Inhale, sending your arms out wide. Exhale, interlacing your hands behind your back. And notice if you're able to bring your palms together. Oftentimes what I see happen is the palms open up, and that's fine. You can do either or, but for this one today, let's keep our palms together. And then once the bottom of our hands are touching, straighten the arms as much as you can and keep those shoulder heads pulling back and away from each other, okay? Send the sternum up as you straighten the arms and maybe the hands travel further to the ground. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. So feel free to soften your knees as much as you need to, so you can hinge from the hips and allow your hands to move further away from your body. Head and neck soften. Are your palms still together, or did they float apart naturally? We're so used to doing things, we might not even notice that we did that already. So your shoulders might not be able to go as deep with your palms together, but we're just doing it for a little bit, a little experiment. Okay, now allow your hands to open up so the fingertips are still holding on to each other, but the palms are no longer hugging. And now see how much deeper you might be able to go, the new space that is created because of that simple move. Head and neck release. Shake your head yes or no here. Soften your jaw. Beautiful. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Walk your hands far out in front of you for a wide-legged downward facing dog. And then walking your hands over to the front of your mat, to the right side. Lifting that left heel over the toes, planting your hands. Inhale, send that right leg up high. Stacking the hips, bending the knee. And then being free to play with that right leg. Maybe you make big circles with the knee. Maybe you kick that leg behind you a little bit more and open and straighten. It's your choice. What do you need to feel right now with that right leg lifted off the ground? One more movement of your choice. And then stack that right hip over the left, straightening the leg. Exhale, bring the right foot through, pivoting the back heel down to the ground. Inhale as you lift into warrior two. Rooting your feet, gazing gently over your right fingertips. Inhale as you straighten your front leg and reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Dancing warrior. Exhale. Last one. Reaching your right fingertips for the right side of your room. I don't know where you're at. Bring your elbow down to your knee. Extended side angle. So if you'd like to go a little deeper, feel free to bring your hand down to the ground, or if you have that blocker box nearby, place your hand down on the block. Inhale, coming back up, warrior two. Straightening the front leg, heel toeing your foot in about half a foot length, just a little bit closer. And then exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left arm reaches up. Right hand can be anywhere along the length of that leg, except maybe your knee might not be so comfortable. And if your hand is up here, that's okay. You can still feel it, hopefully, in that right hip area. So don't worry about how deep you are here. If it's screaming in your legs, especially your hamstring or your calf, feel free to come up above the knee. Okay, this is your practice. Nobody's watching you. Notice if you move down or up a little, what does that do for the pose? And then taking your left hand, making big circles with the shoulder, taking up even more space. And maybe you're drawing a circle as though there's a wall in front of you and you're in an XY orientation, or maybe you want to go XYZ, so more three-dimensional, and you add a little back bend into it. Your hips might move, reverse direction. Moving that shoulder, the rotator cuff, in different ways. Beautiful. Last one until you come into triangle pose. Exhale as you bring both hands down to the ground, lifting that back heel over the toes, kicking the right leg back up to the sky. Exhale as you bring the right foot down, shift your weight forward, high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg reaches up, stack the hips. And once again, you have your own freedom here. How do you want to be in this three-legged dog? Whatever you did on the other side, maybe do so here. Finding your freedom in movement, listening to your inner body. Doesn't need to be soft, doesn't need to be hard, doesn't need to be flexible or strong. Beautiful. Inhale as you lengthen that left leg, stacking the hip over the right. Exhale, bring the foot in between your hands, back heel pivots. Warrior two on the other side. And this time, if you'd like, instead of having your palms facing down to the ground, flip your palms so they're facing up. And then inhale, dancer's warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, moving with your breath. Last one. Rooting that foot, especially the right back edge of your foot. And then sending the left fingertips forward, forward, forward. And then bending the elbow as you bring the elbow down to the ground, extended side angle. Feel free to bring the hand down to the ground to block. Or if you went for a bind at home, go ahead and do that. If I cue you to draw your belly button into your spine here, what happens? Can you be a little lighter on your hand or elbow the more you engage your core? One more breath. Inhale, coming back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg, heel toe the back foot in slightly. And exhale, right hip goes back, fingertips forward, triangle pose. And you have time here to play around with your hand placement, whether it's on your big toe, your ankle, your shin, or your thigh. Fill it out. What stretch feels best right now for you today? And then we're going to start to make those big arm circles here, taking the right hand down and up. One-dimensional, three-dimensional, multi-dimensional. Move with your breath. Allow your breath to guide you, and then switch direction. You might feel some noise or hear some noise in that shoulder rotator cuff area, because you don't usually move your arms in such a way. Getting rid of that stickiness. Arm comes back up, triangle pose. Bring your hands down to the ground as you bend the front knee, let right heel over toes, and then inhale, kick the left leg back up high. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Pushing your hands into the ground to lift the hips a little bit higher. And then starting to walk your hands closer to your feet until you come into a forward fold. Taking peace fingers, keep it place, grabbing onto your big toes. And let's see if your feet are hip distance apart by bringing your hands into fists and having your feet be just as wide as your hands. And then grabbing onto your big toes, softening the knees, the belly and thighs touch, forward fold. Over time, we work on straightening those legs and creating more space in the back body by pulling down on our toes with our fingers, letting our elbows splay further apart. So we go there. And then inhale, slowly rolling up, one vertebrae at a time. Sweeping your arms up, allowing your palms to touch, gazing up at your fingers. Exhale, palms come through heart center, mountain pose. So this is a good time to find your block if you haven't yet, especially if you have tighter hips. We're going to come back into that chair pose with figure 4. And we're gonna do a forward fold into there. So sometimes it's really nice to have the block or blocks within reach, because that ground can feel really, really far away when your body is made into this shape. Now for some of you, it might be super easy to touch the ground. I find it's either easy or not, okay? So let's come into that figure 4 chair, hands to heart center, right leg crossing over the left. And then starting to fold forward halfway. You're looking straight down at the ground, torso parallel to the ground. So you can stay here, or maybe bring your hands down to your blocks and allow your head and neck to soften here for a forward fold. And feel free to bring the blocks or whatever prop you have to whatever height you need. If you only have one, you can bring both hands to the block. If you're able to find the ground, you can bring your hands down to the ground. If you want to play with an arm balance here, what you want to do is hook the foot around that left arm. So if you're still staying in the forward fold, stay there. The arm balance, you bring both hands down, sink the hips low enough that the knee will come into the right arm, and the foot hooks around the left arm. You begin to lean your weight forward, pushing the shin bone down into your arm. Keep pushing the shin bone down, and maybe the left leg reaches up for a hamstring curl. If you want to straighten that leg, go ahead. For 2, 1, exhale, lower the leg. Join us all back into that forward fold, figure 4. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Inhale, slowly coming back up halfway, hands to heart center, pushing the ground away, coming all the way back up. Awesome. How did you do? Did you fall on your face? Did you try the arm balance? If you were too scared that you were going to fall on your face, because that is a normal reaction, feel free to bring some blankets or a pillow, especially if you're at home. Or don't even try it. If fear is telling you don't try this yet, you know, listen to your mind over our egos. So we're going to switch sides. Left foot crosses over, figure 4 chair. First, finding steadiness and ease wherever you are, and then coming down halfway. So you can stay here the whole time, working on balance and strength. But if you want to add a little bit more flexibility versus balance into the equation, bring your hands down to the blocks or to the ground. If you wanted to play with that arm balance, keep sinking the hips down to the ground so you can hook the foot around the right arm. Start to lean your chest forward. Chest goes forward. It's like crow pose. We're not sinking down. We're gripping the ground with our fingertips as our chest shifts forward. We push that left shin bone into the arm, and then eventually hamstring curl. Maybe you straighten the leg. Maybe you fall on your face. Smile wherever you are. Come down as slow as you went up for 1 more breath. And then come back into our forward fold with all of our friends for 3 more breaths. Beautiful. Inhale, bringing your hands off the block, bringing them back to heart center. Inhale, rise. Letting that left foot come down to the ground. Shaking out your wrists if you went for the arm balance. Move my blocks out of the way. Okay. Coming back to the front of your mat, mountain pose. Closing your eyes, pausing and feeling. I'm catching my breath right now, so I can talk more clearly to you. Moving through another Vinyasa. Inhale, sweeping your arms up, palms touch. Exhale, softening the knees, bringing your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, forward fold. Exhale, releasing both hands down to the ground, hop, jump, find your way back, high plank. And we're going to lower to the count of 5 together, all the way down to the ground. So maybe you bring your knees down. Maybe you keep them lifted, send the chest forward for 3. Well, let's say 4. I don't want to go fast. Now we're at 3, halfway down. Keep retracting the shoulder blades 2. If you're floating, keep the knees lifted. Hold here for 1. And exhale, soften, release. Let it all go. Arms down to your sides, rest a cheek. Bending your knees, reaching back for your feet. Finding your way into bow pose, Dhanurasana. As you inhale, lift your chest off the ground. And then starting to kick your feet into your hands and lifting your knees off the ground as well. See how high those knees can rise, using your glutes to help you get there. 1 more breath. Exhale. Release, windshield wiper the knees, rest your other cheek. Okay, let's do that one more time, coming back into bow pose, reaching back for your feet and kicking yourself up for 5 breaths. Exhale, release, hands come down underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, seat to heels, and then shift your weight forward to come into boat pose, not bow. Really emphasize that T, rocking back on your sit bones. And if you'd like, you can start by giving yourself a hug. Finding balance. If this feels okay, kick your feet up a little bit higher. Keep sending the sternum up, gazing towards your big toes. And then if you're still holding on to your legs for dear life, start to loosen that grip. Maybe let go, reaching your fingertips towards the front of your mat. Squeezing your inner thighs together. For 5. Oh yeah. Keep squeezing everything in towards center for 4. It's a long hold. If this feels too easy for you, straighten that low back by sending the sternum up. 3. Ooh. How are you breathing? Are you breathing? 2. You're almost there. Straighten the legs a little bit more. Last breath. 1. And then exhale, come down halfway. Hollow boat. Carve it out. Use your core muscles for 5. Oh my goodness. If you're over it, come down to the ground for a mini Savasana. Otherwise, keep hugging everything in towards center. We're at 3. Head and shoulders off the ground. 2. 1 more breath. You can do it. Exhale, release. Woo! Now we're on our mini Shavasana together. Take a moment to find your breath again. Happy baby pose. Maybe rocking left to right. Okay, we're going to come into a back bend here, whether that be bridge or wheel. Bringing the soles of your feet down to the ground. Hands come down, palms pushing down into the ground. Inhale as you lift the glutes, and 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep pushing your heels down to lift the back body. And then maybe at the end, as you inhale, sweep your arms up overhead until the hands touch down. And then finally, if you'd like, lift the heels. Squeeze the glutes at the top for a moment. And then exhale, release everything down to the ground. Dropping your knees away from each other, feet together. Reclined butterfly. So we're going to do 2 more back bends of your choice. If you'd like to go into a bridge, a stationary bridge this time, feel free to push your hips and back off the ground again. This time interlacing your hands underneath you and straightening your arms. If you'd like to go into wheel, bring your hands towards your ears, on the outsides of your ears, fingertips pointing towards your body. Push your hands into the ground and come up to the top of your head. Strong legs, keep pushing your weight into your heels. And then start to straighten your arms as your head floats off the ground. Wherever you are, breathe there for 3. And 2. Last breath. Exhale. Slowly come down the way you came back up. This time we're going to bring our feet to the outside edges of our mat and allow our knees to touch. Maybe you bring one hand to your heart, the other to your belly, and close your eyes. Talk to your body. How does that feel? What do you want to do for your final back bend? You might want to place a block underneath your low back and allow your legs to go out long. So imagine I have a block underneath here, and just allow your body to melt into the block. That's one option, especially if your back is feeling really tired right now. Go there. If the bridge felt nice and solid, try that again. And for this bridge version, do a figure 4 on one side for a few breaths on each side before coming down. And if you want to try that in wheel, you can try that in wheel too. Whenever you're ready, finding your way up to your final back bend. Once again, it's your choice. It's not mine. If you wanted to go into the figure 4, walk the left foot in more towards center as you cross the right leg over. So now you're only bouncing on 3 points if you're in wheel. You might feel really wobbly. Switch sides. And then exhale, slowly find your way down. Happy baby pose. Rocking and rolling side to side. Letting the left foot come down to the ground, right foot crosses over for figure 4. So you can stay here, resting on your back, and bring your knee into your chest. Feels very lovely. If you'd like to go a little deeper, come up onto your forearms, pushing your elbows into the ground until eventually you push yourself up to a seat. So it's a seated figure 4. If this feels too intense, just come back to your back and hug your knee into your chest. If you want to go a little deeper, move the left foot down, fire log pose, right foot over the left, stacking ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, forward fold. If you're in figure 4 on your back, let your hips and your legs fall over to the left so that right sole of the foot will push down into the ground. If you're in fire log, walk your hands over to the left. Beautiful. We're going to switch sides. Right leg comes down. If you're in fire log, just switch legs. Otherwise, we'll walk you through here because each side is different. So maybe fire log seemed impossible on the right side, but it might be possible on the left. But we start simple and we build up. Okay, we're constantly changing things to find new areas in our body to strengthen or stretch. So you can stay here, hugging the knee into the chest. That feels really nice. Or you can walk yourself up, elbows first till palms, and you push your belly closer to your legs. A little deeper on the hips there. Otherwise, come into your fire log, hinging from the hips and coming all the way down to the ground, or to a block or your cardboard box. And if you wanted to do that little twist for the figure 4 on your back, let your legs fall over to the right. So the left sole of the foot is down on the ground. If you want to stay in fire log, walk your hands over to your right. You might be able to get that left tricep or shoulder on the sole of the foot. Breathing into your back body wherever you are. Okay. Everyone finding their way down to their back. Giving themselves a hug, drawing your knees into your chest. Maybe rocking and rolling, making small circles here. We're going to come into one final supine twist. So we did eagle legs earlier, and we've done a lot of hip stuff today. So if you want to try to do eagle legs, kick your legs out long, and then cross the right leg over the left, making an X. Bend the knees, allow your feet to come down to the ground, and then push your feet into the ground so you can swivel the hips to the right just a few inches, and then the knees can slowly come down to the left as your arms reach out wide to a T, gazing to your right. Now your body will tell you really quickly whether this feels good or not. If it doesn't, unhook, bring the right leg over the left. If your knees aren't able to touch each other, find a prop, place it in between. That way your hips can soften and your low back can really release here. So we really want our knees to be touching something in some way to get the merits of this pose. Beginning to close your eyes, settling the nervous system. And we're going to switch sides, rolling back onto your back. Legs go out long. Eagle legs, left leg hooks over the right. Bend the knees. Right foot comes down to push your hips off the ground and move them over to the left. Knees fall to the left as you gaze, knees fall to the right as you gaze to the left. And you choose which variation you want to do. Taking a few deep breaths wherever you are. Unwinding. Coming into Savasana. And if you're cold, placing a blanket over you. Closing your eyes. Puffing your chest up slightly by drawing your shoulder blades a little closer together, and then allowing your arms and legs to relax, releasing any tension in your fingers or toes, your jaw, your eyes. Just allow it to go and soften. And just as we begin class, we will end by noticing the sensations on our skin, the temperature of the air around us, the fabric above or below us, the pressure of our body in different parts of the ground. Feeling all your body space, and then going a little deeper, either going in deep, deep, deep to the area holding tension, or going out and allowing your energy to expand to the outer edges of the space you're in. Even with your eyes closed, noticing where you are in space. Allowing that space to get bigger. Being outside the walls of the room. Outside the walls of your house. Maybe you can grow so big you're outside your neighborhood. Feel your energy parameters stretch and soften at the edges. Allow each molecule of your body to take up all that space, to feel freer, less confined. Starting to draw everything back in, all the way back to your heart center. Taking an inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. About one more time. I'm reaching your arms up overhead for a deep stretch. As you exhale, roll over to one side. Pushing yourself up into a comfortable seat. Hands come together, heart center, eyes closed. And if you'd like to close your practice with the one Om with me, exhale everything out. Deep inhale. Hands come to forehead. Be light and shine. Hands come to heart. Be light and love. We come from the stars. We are all light. Yes? Thank you all for joining me today. Namaste. And if you noticed, Breathe will be moving to Zoom, I think on Wednesday. I will still be here on YouTube, so you can let your friends or family know who might not be members of Breathe, that I will still be here every Monday at noon, right here where you saw me. So I hope to see you again. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know in the comments how you're feeling. All right, bye. Thank you, Kumar, Annie, Megan. Have a wonderful day. Bye, Bee. Thank you, Courtney. Have a wonderful day. Happy Monday. I'm trying to end this, but it's not letting me. So we'll see if it lets me or not.